to another episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Alan Oliver.
So the only Flanagan got a gun because he was the one who was to be close from the bad guys. Fuck you, bad
So
guys.
he killed himself, right?
But I mean, it's from what the ties told me that it's an accident. Yes, it's an accident that he got shot. But why hiding the truth? It's because the RCMP didn't have the proper authorization to be in Thailand. First of all, which had to come from the minister. The minister of what we call your Solicitor General, which is a little bit like the DOJ in the United States, who will give authorization to do that because you cannot take a Canadian to another country and have him executed over there. It's again the charter of right. And even few Americans who were in jail here, incarcerated here in Canada a few years ago, Burns, Suresh, and other guys like that, were wanted in the United States and facing the death penalty. And the minister forced the American government to give them to promise that these guys wouldn't be executed if they were extradited to the United States.
Yeah.
So how come then that the RCMP could take me over there using taxpayers' money? And Canada is against the death penalty, by the way. Just make sure people in the U.S. know that we're against the death penalty and have been for over. The last person who was hanged over here was in '68. Yeah. That was the last time someone was killed in Canada.
But they wanted you put to death.
Yeah, to make sure we wouldn't talk about what happened over there.
Yeah.
What screwed them up? I mean, with the death of their colleague, instead to get all the honors when they came back to Canada. I mean, they were demoted, they were transferred, and but it's not all. When I sued them, when I was going through discovery period with these RCMP officers here in Canada, the commissioner of the RCMP gave them the medal for for an outstanding job that they had done in Thailand in '89. And in 2003, they gave them a Medal of Honors for what they had done. So it's just insult after insult, like I said. And Thailand prison are not pleasant. It's not a walk on the beach.
No.
We were in Bamguan, we were 8,600 prisoners on a 80 acres plot where 2/3 of the prison was used for factories and gardens and
Was there any people from Canada with you or people from the United States?
Afterwards, some Canadians came by. There were a few Canadians who were incarcerated with me over there. There was one guy from here in Quebec who did 4.5 years.
Were you cool with them?
Oh, yeah. I was cool with everyone. The first prison, the only thing is I refused to stay with all the foreigners over there, like I explained in my book, Good Luck Frenchie, because there was too much bullshit going on. And after what had been done to me, not only by the RCMP, but Glenn Barry at the end, their informant, that I felt more at ease to be on my own. And there were a couple other Americans in that section where I live, and I stayed away from people. I kept to myself, and until my friends were sentenced, and I ended up being on my own inside the Bombat before my sentencing, and that's some samurais, some Thai guys tattooed from ear to toes, tried to.
Yeah. How did that all happen? Was it because after? So now the guy that was the reporter.
Yeah, Victor.
He believed in you.
Yeah.
He believed in your innocence.
Yeah.
So
at first he did not. When he came back to Canada and started to question the RCMP, and he ended up facing a wall of no comment. Then he realized that something was wrong. And that's because of his news article after he came to Thailand to interview me, that the RCMP Public Complaint Commission initiated an inquiry about the RCMP's conduct in that case.
Yeah.
Malaric contributed to my return because just before my return, we managed to get our hands on McEwen's report. That report was hidden at the commission because it was too critical.
Yeah.
Malarek was writing a book at the time, and he included a whole chapter about this story, and it kind of forced the Canadian government to take me back home on the treaty, the exchange treaty, like the Americans have with Thailand after so many years. But you can come back home and do your time in a local prison, which I
Yeah.
did, and that's basically because of him and his resilience at wanting the truth out that I finally made it back home.
Because
And
were they threatening him too? Was he
oh
getting threats? And
yeah, after we did a big documentary after the decision from the trial judge rendered his decision the January 2008, and when Matter X saw that, he decided to do a documentary with W5 in Toronto, which is like 60 minutes in the United States. And
mhm.
after the documentary went out, Malarek was on an assignment, I think in Vancouver or something. And while he was away, just like you signed a movie, the
Mhm.
someone went to his place and broke all the windows with a baseball bat. We cannot
Wow.
prove the RCMP, but it's a little bit too much coincidence at some point.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not here to say that they did or not, but it's the kind of thing that happened. The same for me when I know that every time I try to dig out stuff about Flanagan's death, that I put my life in danger. I know if I would have been in the state, probably I
Mhm.
would have ended up at the bottom of the fucking Potomac River, feeding the fucking fish over there.
Probably. So
Because
after
I've been doing some podcasts with some other Americans, and this is all they all told me the same thing. You would have been here with such secret. I mean, you wouldn't have been able to speak about it probably.
no, they would have went in the cell with you and been like done deal, and that would be it.
Since
Yeah.
I've seen Epstein hanging himself in prison in New York, and
Yeah.
there's no safety nowhere. Believe me,
There isn't. There really isn't.
I take care of myself. I'm well. I have good people around me, and
Yeah. So
I'm looking.
what was the process when they said you're sentenced to death? What was their process from then that point on?
But they sent me back to my cell noontime, and it was about 1:30 in the afternoon when I heard my name, and I was called back to go before the court, before the judge. And the judge said that because first in the morning when we ended up being sentenced to death, I refused to sign the document. And when they called me back, the judge says, if you plead guilty, we'll give you 100 years rather than having you sentenced to death. And in Thailand, they, as you saw on the pictures on my website, they tied you to a cross and they shot six M16 bullets through your heart.
That's how they kill you?
Yeah. And they put a little
Wow.
flag straight in line with your heart, and the guy who's shooting at you, he he's telling you before shooting you that he's not aiming at you, but he's aiming at the flag, because the Thais are not allowed to kill on their. I mean, Buddhists are pretty peaceful people, but I
Yeah.
mean,
Have you seen other prisoners get put to death out there?
no, but uh, yeah, but that wasn't in that chamber. That was in our section and any other section. People were getting killed on a daily basis over there, or they were dying from AIDS, tuberculosis. I've seen guys getting their throat slit completely for a matter of 50 cents because that guy needed that 50 cents to buy himself a fucking hit. I've seen
Wow.
draft of time where there was not any heroin inside the prison, and when the samurais would find out about one prisoner who had something in, like it happened in my section, one Thai guy had some skag plug up his ass, and two junkies jumped on him and just cut him open. And they went to dig the fucking bottle and bang themselves.
What?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, I never heard nothing like that before.
Believe me, I have
Yeah.
seen stuff like, and I was a doctor in my sections for many years. Even seen guys coming up with their intestine in their hands because some guy
And what, you had to put it back?
I could not. There are things I could not do,
Yeah.
but that guy had been cut open with fucking grass clipper.
So if someone's hurt like that in a Thai prison,
But
what happens with
you're
them? You just stay with it, or
but they have an hospital over there, but the annual budget for in Thailand is like 50 cents per prisoner for the whole year. So
what?
once you take two aspirins, you pretty much busted the budget for your own health.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. And if
Wow.
you were sick and you needed antibiotics, the hospital would give you only two caps at the time of penicillin when you need, in fact, to take it 3 times a day and 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row.
Yeah.
So you had to pay for everything if you wanted to get medication. And myself, since my mom worked in herbal medicine and natural medicine when I was a kid, and that
Yeah.
I've been always interested about the human body. Foremost, since my mother had a heart attack, I wanted to know how things work out in there. So I became the doctor in my section, and people who needed stitches or whatever, I always found ways to stitch them up when it was possible.
Yeah,
Or get
sewing thread or something.
yeah, and get guards to buy big bottles of because when I ended up in the hole in Thailand is because we created the first prisoner committee over there in Bamguan prison. We were the first, and the direction they didn't like it at all, and we even ended up doing a hunger strike.
Oh
So
man.
you'll read all this in my book.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm gonna put a link for your book so people
Yeah,
can
and
go check it out.
you'll see when you read it, you will have the book has a lot more details than the movie.
Yeah.
You will see what I've been through. I mean, from having a tooth pulled out cold to having my leg like this and just opening it up, you have to deal with what you got when you get sick. And
Yeah.
I'm lucky that I had good genes to make it through. And what saved me is when my sentence, when it was confirmed in '92 that I wouldn't be sentenced to death anymore, that I would continue having my life sentence, which over there is 100 years, uh, at least I had hope to stay alive. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
executed, and I decided that gave me a reason to stop doing drugs. And mostly after I've seen my good friend OD just next to me,
Oh, he
uh,
died. He died right there in the prison.
needle still in his arm.
Wow.
So I've seen many overdoses. I'm the one who
Yeah.
was shooting my friends because they couldn't even shoot because they had
Wow.
been shooting for so many years. Some you don't find veins here, you will find one in the foot or in the fucking
Yeah.
jugular or right up in the fucking fucking forehead. I've seen a Spanish guy shooting in his dick, and he missed a
Wow.
shot, and his dick swallowed the side of fucking zucchini man.
Hey, that's good though, right?
Yeah, but I'm not sure about the pain that goes with it.
So the good women will love it.
Yeah, like I said, I've seen all kinds of things. It was like a battlefield. When you're with people, half the population is over there are murderers and
Yeah.
I mean serial killers. I did time with guys who were there who were doing 16 and 12 life sentences over there because they had killed families, kids, the dogs, and the cats with it. And these guys, they were freed before me because of the amnesties. Because drug over there is
What?
much more serious than murder. Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
So, were you getting any money while you were in there?
The embassy, I forced the Canadian embassy to give me $100 a month to pay for my food, and basically that's it. And with the prisoner committee, we had many activities. Like you'll see in the book, I organize boxing events, and I don't want to sell all the punches, but
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sure,
So,
I'm sure once you will have read that book, you will write me back and you will say, Alan. You
All
will
right.
have something to tell me, I
We'll
guarantee
have
you.
another interview to do.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I'll be delighted to do it
Yeah.
for you. You
Yeah,
said
definitely. So,
the
what
only
kind of stuff would you buy when you had that $100 a month? What kind of stuff could you buy while you were in the prison?
buy a bar of soap, and there was only one kind. And shampoo, there was only one kind. That was baby shampoo, Johnson and Johnson. Beside that, I mean, we could buy coffee, rice, bags of white rice,
I mean, you could just eat white rice all day long.
mixed with vegetable. Actually, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, tofu is pretty good. Because when I stopped doing drugs, I mean, I spent the first 14 days without sleep, going through cold turkey, and after that, took me about 3 months to sweat it to just to sweat it out completely. And I started training pretty quick after those 14 days. I started walking, running. I did martial art for almost 10 years before going to prison, before becoming a junkie. So I started training with the Thais, doing Muay Thais with them.
Did you
Uh,
know Thai? Did you know the language
I
before
learned
you?
I learned over there, yeah. I learned to speak it, I learned to write it and to read it. I even got a school built over there in my section because
Wow.
the Thais didn't even know how to write their names. All they knew, they were grabbing their thumbs, and that was their signatures.
Were you teaching the Thai people how to
I I,
speak
I taught
English?
I taught an English class over there as well, and I was
Wow.
and I was going to school to learn Thai as well in that same little school. And what we did is that we get hooked with Chulalongkorn University. And one of my friend, myself, I don't have any money, but some people around me had plenty of it.
Yeah.
I convinced him to buy a satellite
A satellite.
to get, well, to get the signal and get the TV program, educational program from the university, trans directed into prison on the screen to
Wow.
have students studying. And from there on, we pass another cable to the attic of the building
Hmm?
through the ceiling or cell, and we could check Monday Night Football.
And they let you watch it?
You bet. But we weren't paying for it. I mean, the
Yeah.
guards, they had this. And we had casinos inside each section.
Yeah.
Some peoples were there for tons of heroin. I mean, they could gamble some night for 30, 40, 50,000 US. I mean, each is
So
some
there
people.
was drugs were rampant in this prison, right?
Yeah, it was. It was.
Yeah.
Even at some point, they had busted 2.4 kilos in Section 4. You will read all that in my book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even in details out, but you you'll see it wasn't a summer camp at all. And myself, I tried to help others as much as I could because many people were had nothing,
Yeah.
absolutely nothing. I didn't have much, but I still had more than they had.
You still had hope, though. You still had hope
Yeah,
in that.
I had hope
That
for one good reason because my mother kept telling me in every letter that hope is the thing that people who are desperate feeds on to keep them going.
yeah, and
And
I'm sorry you had to
she's
lose.
been,
You lost your
she's,
parents.
she's been my rock until she died. She died a week after knowing that I was innocent when Victor Malarek called her after he launched his book. Got instinct that it was called, and if he called my mom and says, Madame Olivier, we have all the evidence that your son is innocent, and she died a week later,
Wow.
6 months before I came back. So I never had
Wow.
a chance to tell her I love you or thank you. Even if I wrote her, it's something, but it's not like holding the person
Yeah.
we love the most and then
Yeah.
looking in her eyes and say, "Geez, I love you and thank you for everything you've done for me." I will. I
She's
will.
still with you. She's
Eh?
still with you. I think
Oh,
she's still
I'm,
with you.
I'm sure she is. In some ways, I mean, because You will read in my book when she passed away, and I even won an award this last New Year that was given to me by some criminologists and doctors in Texas in the series of podcasts I did with Dr. Lee Miller
Hmm.
for the best chapter, and psychiatrists and psychologists. They they gave me that prize. That we were live like we are now, but for the best chapter they had ever read and come across about the loss of a mother. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty proud of what I wrote. And believe me, I've been fucking bawling and whipping the time I wrote that chapter. But I was on my
Yeah.
own, fucking tearing down. Come on,
Yeah.
empty yourself.
That's some
And
deep stuff, man. I mean, you've been through some stuff that other people, I think, can't even imagine. Like,
yeah, but like I told you yesterday on the phone, I mean, each one lives through his own misery, and I don't want to compare my misery to the misery of someone else because I cannot expect people to go across things that I've like I did and being still there standing and well minded and everything.
yeah,
Most of my friends are all dead, and those who are not are basically basket case.
yeah.
And they never made it back in their head from that whole experience. Myself,
Whatever, whatever
what's
happened.
what saved me, Bill, it's
Yeah,
writing.
yeah, writing.
Put everything down paper. I never talked to a doctor about it or anything. I
Yeah,
put it down on paper. It's what I've done, and I wrote "Good Luck, Frenchie," and I'm fucking dead proud about it because
that's a really good. It's good, man. The
you
movie was insane. I can't wait to read the book. I'm gonna
you'll
get started on it tonight.
when I get to the police station through my interrogatories, you will see how it's done over there.
Oh man.
Sell all the punches, but you will love it. And
Yeah,
people who are listening to your podcast and your friends will go get that book because it's a book that, even if it's my story, it concerns everyone. It's our right to life in the end that is
yeah,
important. And the way government are hiding the truth sometimes in order to save the face and their image and their integrity.
yeah,
And when it comes down to politics mixed up with a case like mine, it makes things lot worse than any other situation in other cases. Because when politics gets in and the government has to defend themselves, I mean, they have so much power. I mean, I have nothing beside my computer and my piano here and my plant. I have fuck
but
all.
you do though. You do. You have yourself. You got, and you're still alive. Like you could have been dead back there in Thailand. You could
Yeah.
have been dead in that cell.
Well, I've been close to die a few times in Thailand. Before I came back, I got bitten by I don't know what, and I ended up getting some tropical fever. I lost.
Was it like a spider or something, or a
I
mosquito?
will never know. I will never know. But what I know is that I lost between 10 and 15 pounds within 5 days. I
Wow.
was sleeping with bags of ice to get my temperature down. I wasn't
Like
feet
where do they go to the bathroom when they use the bathroom there?
in the cell. They have a hole in the middle of the cell, and it's open. You piss and you shit in front of everyone.
Right there. No toilet paper, nothing.
Not a bowl of water.
Wow.
You splash your ass like Muslim have been doing. I mean, across the world with
So it stinks in there, don't it?
yeah, but it's not the same mentality. I mean, people in Thailand have suffered over the years countless coup d'état and corrupted government. Still, it's the army who's in power right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the democracy over there is still only a dream. Even if they have a monument to commemorate democracy, democracy hasn't been installed in Thailand and will not as long as corrupted generals from the army and other rich politicians will use the country as their toys and to do whatever they want. And it's even in Thailand. A few days ago, they started testing one prison. They had already 22,000 prisoners who tested positive for COVID.
Wow.
Prisoners were dying like crazy for the last few months, and no one said nothing.
Yeah.
And now they started to do something about it. They don't care. Once you get into the carceral system over there, you're old. You're not even a number. You're nothing. You're just there, and they're going to break you, whatever what.
You had so much against you. You had like so much stacked against you
Yeah, but
that it's like when I was trying to explain your story to someone, okay? And they go, "Yeah, but how did they try to plant the drugs on them? How did they?" And they weren't understanding the story. And I'm like trying to explain it to them. So I'm just going to have them buy your book.
yeah,
And they're
that's the best thing that will encourage me. I'm
yeah.
heading right now to do something with Amnesty International to petition the minister for a public inquiry and to have the Supreme Court review my old case. And I'm
Yeah.
working on it, and I'm working on a documentary that we'll be shooting the pilot next week over here. And I'm working also on a teleseries that I wish to present on Netflix or Crave or HBO.
Yeah.
It's all, everything is written. It's only a matter of time for me to get there, and I know the truth will come out one way or another. But let me tell you, after 32 years now that I've been fighting, it's time for me to bring a closure to all this and
Move
just
on. Move on with your life.
go back up country and get new dogs. My dogs died a few years back
Yeah.
because a long time while I was on parole, I didn't tell anyone, not even my parole officer. I was living outside up country on a big domain. A friend of mine owned, and my friend was gone for 4 years, and he let me a domain with a lake, four houses, and the dogs. And I
Yeah.
spent 4 years over there, and I had a third dog, a big Corso,
Good.
gold, and he died at 16 years old.
Oh
And I
man.
miss dogs. So in Montreal, I cannot have dogs here. I need to be up country, and I'm only going to conclude these projects and start aiming to go back up country and do my gardening. And I still have a place to stay where I can live all the time up country, but
Yeah.
I want to have my own place if everything goes well. Right now, I'm only working to. I don't have any retirement plan myself.
Me
if
either, man. That's why I'm doing this podcast.
if I can make the teleseries and get a good deal on that, then that will help to pay for these little dreams that I have. And
Yeah.
if ever my case makes it to the Supreme Court, and I know that they will have to compensate me because my lawsuit was for $47 million.
You want to tell the people what the government told you when you went to sue them after you came back?
But after the old the old legal episode lasted from 2000 until 2012 actually. I filed suit in 2000 within the delay required by the law in Quebec, which is 3 years after the crime that you have the right to sue. After that, you're limited. You cannot. And we went to court. We had the discovery period and everything, and we went to court for 42 days, and several witnesses were supposed to call via satellite, and at some point the attorney general decided not to call these witnesses, which I knew would have confirmed everything I've said.
Mhm.
That's why they didn't call them up. They call that trial by ambush. It's very prone. Not
I
supposed.
never heard that.
Yeah,
Trial by ambush.
yeah. This is how they call it, and all the way through trial, I felt that the judge that was there was something wrong. First of all, he was the youngest judge on the bench. He had been judged at the court only for 6 months, and they gave him the biggest case implicating the RCMP and the Canadian government in the history of our judicial system in Canada. And
Yeah.
they got that guy. And at the end of trial, After 2.5 million spent in time and money by my attorneys, I had two firms representing me. The judge came up and said that I had the legal duty to file suit while I was incarcerated in Thailand. And check
What?
this. He said that once my chains were taken off in '92, and that because I had stopped doing heroin, I had taken my life into my own hand, that from then on I could sue the RCMP from Thailand. Beside the fact that my chains were taken off, the physical barriers
Yeah,
were
you
not
could.
taken off. The walls were there, the distance were there. I had no communication, no bed, no toilet, no visit, no phone call, nothing. We're not allowed to phone call over there. And the judge decided that I had to file suit while I was in Thailand. And when I ended up in appeal, I realized that I was informed by one of the reporter here that one of the judge name for my appeal happened to work with the judge, the trial judge before for 12 years for the same law firm on the same litigating team. So I went to ask for his recusation. It was turned down. The appeal went along, and that same judge, Judge Richard Wagner, uh, was promoted to the Supreme Court by the Attorney General of Canada, who
How
was
ironic.
and I was filing suit against the Attorney General of Canada for 47 million, and they promoted him there. The trial judge him was promoted as a director for the selection of the judges at the Judicial Council. So it's, I mean, that's why I'm doing the documentary now. I want to expose all that crap. The movie was to expose one thing. Just like the book, you'll see it stopped when I stepped out of prison on the sidewalk over there. This is where it stopped.
Yeah.
The sequel starts when I'm heading to the immigration with the trial here and
Oh,
everything.
that's how the book starts.
Yeah,
Oh
the book
man, I
start.
can't wait. I
Yeah,
can't wait.
while I'm on the plane
Yeah.
flying over here, and I'm taken back in my thought about the murder scenario and few other events that occurred during those 18 months that they were chasing me, just
Hmm.
to put people into context. And after that, my arrival here, when I got back to Canada, when I got to the prison here at Saint Anne des Plaines,
How long did they make you stay in prison in Canada once you got back?
when I got back here, 4 months before being sent to a halfway house. But check that. When I got to the prison here, the guy who was in charge of the reception over there, when he saw me, he says, how the hell you doing, Smiley? Long time no see. I say, what the fuck are you talking about? He says, I never forget a face. You're Olivier 195710. Say, yeah. Say, I know you were here before. It's not me. I mean, you got something wrong. And he started telling me, don't stop joking because things will turn bad. And I said, just fucking do your fucking homework. And I don't know what kind of pills you're eating, but stop them. But you have the wrong guy. You will read it eventually.
Yeah.
So I started taking my shirt off. And when I got back here, I was training 6 hours a day, 6 days a week. I was doing 1,500 push-up and 1,000 set-up every morning. I mean, I was doing that every morning, 6 days a week. And I was cut. I
So
mean,
you're getting strong. Yeah.
but I don't have any tattoos. So when he started looking at that picture he had on file, and that other guy had tattoos,
Yeah.
and I didn't have any. Then they realized that they were mistaking me for someone else. And even the screw came to take me over there. There were 5 guards from Correctional Service Canada who came to get me over there.
Yeah.
And for sure I was that other guy who was known to be violent and so on and so on. And
So um do you hold a grudge against the CRMP for
yes, sure I do. Sure do.
yeah,
My mom died
yeah.
basically from sadness knowing her son was in prison over there. They destroyed my family's life for years also.
Yeah.
They destroyed my life.
You don't want this to happen to anyone else either.
I don't want to. And Canada, like I said, is against the death penalty. If so, how can the RCMP use Canadian taxpayers' money to finance an operation that would lead whoever to his death sentence? It just doesn't make sense. So these are all the things I'm fighting for, and I'm trying to get my story spread not only here in Canada but all around the world with the movie and with the book. And like I
Well,
said,
I'll help you as much as I can, and I'll definitely share this video, and I'll get you out there as much as I can. I got one more question for you.
go ahead, my friend.
So, whatever happened with the informant guy on the boat?
The RCMP said they saw him a couple years before trial, and when we asked them if they had told him to show up to trial, they said that wasn't their job to do that. And that informant was responsible. The RCMP was responsible for his conduct in all the other cases related to Operation Deception, which
Yeah.
was like I think 28 or 29 other court trial that they had. And one of those trials made jurisprudence with regard to entrapment, because Glenn Barry had gotten his brother-in-law entrapped by convincing him to find him 4 ounces of pot for one of his buddy, and that buddy was our CMP officer. So you got his brother-in-law busted. This is how low that fucking piece of shit. Sorry about the term that
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. Where
And
is he now? Where'd he go now?
He's in the Maritimes, maybe in Nova Scotia or New Brunswick. I know he's by the sea. He's a fisherman. He was a fisherman on the West Coast. He's originally from the Maritime,
Yeah.
I think around Prince Edward Island or New Brunswick or something like that. So I know he's somewhere. He's somewhere. I mean, life will take care of him.
Yeah.
And I already filed also before the criminal court against him and the RCMP, but the Justice of Peace here doesn't want to send my case before a criminal judge, because if they do so, they will. Because I want to go there without any lawyer. That will force the Quebec government,
Hmm.
the Attorney General, to file accusation against the RCMP and the Canadian government. So
Yeah.
you'll see, it's not over yet.
I honestly think that
But that guy is still alive. I know he's still
yeah,
alive. And he's probably fishing a salmon somewhere right now.
he'll get his. He'll get his.
That was very kind of you having me, and let's be in touch again. I will
Yeah,
keep you
definitely.
posted, and read my book and let me know what you think about it, and tell
I
your friends.
definitely will, man.
I
100%.
want to show them
Yeah, show the book again.
this is it. Good luck, Frenchie.
Good luck, Frenchie. Yeah, let me
Yeah.
write that down so I can make sure
This
I.
is me on the cover, Bill.
Yeah.
I got almost 40 pounds of irons on the picture here. Because when I went to court, they would have had up another chain just to make sure I wouldn't start running.
Yeah. Like you're gonna go anywhere.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. But you survived, and now you got your life back, and
Trying
And
to
I-
move forward and
yeah,
trying to make a difference and ensure that generations to come will be able to count on their justice system, and that justice system will respect their right and not try to cover up for the government and the RCMP. It's the same thing in the US in many cases. So
yeah,
I mean, we each one his own battle, and I keep on fighting for the truth and for justice. And I'm glad to have people like you inviting me just to share my story with you guys.
of course, man. You know I'm always here, and I'm glad I got a friend out of you, man.
How you do? Take care, and we will be able to do that again in the near future.
Yeah, definitely. So make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you could get my videos every time they drop. Until next time, man.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, everyone.